Yo, what's up, guys? How are you doing today? I'm going to be talking about the Oklahoma City Thunder going ahead and moving on to the NBA Finals as they went out and beat the Minnesota Timberwolves in a resounding, routing game. Just the most calm-free game to move on to the NBA Finals in a very long time. Let me go ahead and take my headphones on so I can just chill. All right, so SGA ends up winning Western Conference Finals MVP. He has a really good game. And then the other side, you see Anthony Edwards, kind of get into his bag in the third quarter. Him and both Randall, but at that point it was too little too late. The first quarter, they scored, not 9 combined points. Both of them. The team overall scores 9 points. Casey Wallace hits the 3, which is deflating after that low scoring output in the first quarter. And then second quarter comes in, they struggle. In third quarter, they get hot. And then they're still down by close to 30 points. So at that point, it was basically over. But first things first, can we clap it up for the OKC Thunder, the youngest team in basketball to make the finals? The youngest team, I believe, this season, and they made the finals. A team that I would have penciled in to make the finals a couple months ago, or maybe even longer than that. It just, they were just a really young team, and a lot of people didn't believe in this team to go all the way to the finals. But I penciled in Celtics versus Thunder in the finals multiple months back. And when you really go and look through the Thunder, I mean, it's not the most conventional way of doing things. They are a really great defensive team. They do have their conventional superstar guy, but I don't know on every championship level team of Jalen Williams, in all due respect, because he can be really good. We'd also see him be really, really dreadful. The highs and lows of Jalen Williams' game. I mean, he's only this is his fourth year in the league, and you have Chet officially his third year in the league. I mean, those are your second and third options, and then you also have guys stepping about and over like Casey Wallace. Shout out to Casey Wallace, man. The guy is a criminally underrated role player, And then there's, guys like Alex Caruso, who is an absolute pest. And I don't feel like you even got that many great performances this postseason, even this series, from guys that you love and guys that are enamored in OKC, the Aaron Wiggins, the Isaiah Joes, You got a Lou Dort hitting multiple threes today, but I feel like he was on and off. The guy that wasn't on and off, the guy that I think was consistently good, he did shoot at points a couple tournaments, but it is what it is, 40 on 30 shots. SGA last game, he went out and did his thing. You feel what I'm saying? Shout out to SGA. We just got to keep talking about the Thunder because it's absurd. It's absurd. I really like what Casey Wallace showed tonight I really like what Casey Wallace showed, man. I really did. Both ends of the ball, he's a pest defensively. When he's hitting his corner threes, when he at multiple times hit mid-ranges last game, I'm like, damn. Or maybe not last game, but a game before that. I'm like, no, it was that game. Yep, I think. Yep. Because they lost game 3, 4, 5. Yep, I think. Yep. Off the top of my head, I think, yep. But they have so many bodies to throw. Ant-Man was in hell. Or I'm not calling him Ant-Man. I'm calling him by his government name, Anthony. You don't deserve a nickname after that performance, Anthony Edwards. Can't, man. Let me stop trolling. There's so many bodies to throw at him, though. The guys like Lou Dort, Caruso's, Casey Wallace, I points Jalen Williams. It's you just have a lot of bodies to throw in that points. You can switch with Chet guarding him as well. It's you can put length, you can put size, you can put a combination of both. You can put speed, you can put hands on him. Not like that, but guys that are great at, generating steal and things of that nature. But it's the Thunder didn't even shoot that well from 3 tonight. They shot what? Okay, they did. At a point they weren't, but they ended up shooting 40%. But it's Chet had a criminally underrated game both tonight and last game as well. SGA though, man, when it mattered most, he stepped up. People want to get about his free throws. 4 free throw attempts today, made all 4 of them. 34 points, Hey, man. This is an incredibly deep team. At points, they get into their bag. They put Cameron Williams in the game. At points, it's Isaiah Joe. It's Aaron Wiggins. We barely saw Jalen Williams, who I think is objectively a damn good backup big. Arkansas legend. And he really wasn't able to get too much clock this series. And towards the end of the last series as well, even though Mike Breen was hyping him up as a really good Jokic defender. But yeah, man. when it mattered most, OKC stepped up. This team grew in front of our eyes, man. The Nuggets had them on the brinks of elimination. That game 6 was dreadful. Going to game 7, resounding BTA, belt to ass. This is a extremely young team growing in front of our very own eyes, you know. Again, Jalen Williams had his downs in this series, and I was wondering in the back of my head, is he really a number 2 on a championship level team? And currently, right now, he is a number 2 on a championship level team. He's not going to always be the most efficient guy, but he's a really damn good defender, underrated rebounder, and playmaker. And he hit multiple clutch threes for them when it mattered most, especially that game that they won not too long ago. In the corner, you know, he hit that, and in the wing, it was like 4, 3, 2, 1. SGA passes it to him as he's on the ground. J-Dub, bang. I believe that was game 4, and they win today in game 5. Timberwolves, in my opinion, they're too talented, in my humble opinion, to only win one game this series. I thought this would have been like a 6-game series. The fact that it was only a 5-gamer, I'm disappointed in the Timberwolves, especially some points, you know. At points, it was, Ant legacy game, Randall legacy game, but the bench and the role players are not giving me a damn thing. And then at points, it was the role players, like the other game, the last game. Nah and DiVincenzo give you so much, and then what did you give them? Not a damn thing back. Like Ant and Randall. I mean, Randall, he had jolts and points and things like that, but it's like, and then Ant was just shooting the tour day. He said he didn't struggle. Ant, mind you, last game had more turnovers, 5, than made field goals, 4. I want to say at the top of my head, or maybe he had 5 and 5, but he didn't have more field goals than turnovers, which is just like, my brother in Christ, what are we doing? Like, you struggled that game. I don't care what Anthony Edwards fans want to say. He struggled that game. You feel what I'm saying? But yeah, shout out to the Thunder going out to the finals, and Timberwolves, Randall, Reed are free agents. I want to see what happens with that in terms of the cap space. They just got Mark Lore and my dog, Alex Rodriguez, Yankees legend, as their new owners. I want to see what happens with that. But OKC's headed to the finals, and Timberwolves, they are cooked. Their season is over. But yeah, so let's talk about the Thunder overall again, game by game. I really like that Kenrich Williams joke. He had like 7 points, a quiet 7 points. If you really watch the game, I feel like it was like a nice little, he gave a nice little boost in energy to the Thunder in that game 1. SGA had an abysmal second quarter. He stepped up a lot in the second half, though. You got a good check game in game 1 as well. You know, game 2, though, Casey Wallace, I like what I saw to him. I like what I saw to SGA and J-Dub as well. And then the game 3 in which the Timberwolves won, I feel like everybody was off overall. J-Dub had a legacy game in that game 4. Especially in that first half, he was phenomenal. He was just chef's kiss. Very underrated check game, I want to say as well, in that game 4. And I also, like for most of the series, I feel like there was a really underrated jolt from Casey Wallace as well. But I really like what I saw from him in that game 4 on both ends of the basketball once again. And yeah, man, this game was euphoric, man. Imagine a no sweat-free game to go to the finals. I would die for that, man. It's a Heat thing, 2023. We were up by a considerable amount, and then fake coming by the Celtics, and then Caleb Martin and Gabe Vincent kind of gave us that jolt, and then it was over. So thankfully for that, it was like 4 or 5 minutes ago, I could finally breathe and be like, we're going to the finals, just to get trampled by the Nuggets though. But finals, at the end of the day, it is what it is. So yeah, then on to the Timberwolves. You know, a lot of questions to be had. I don't know what's gonna go on with y'all. But yeah, game 1 though, I like what I saw Julius Randle. You know, he's beating the playoff driver allegations. He beat that last series, and in this series he had an on and off. I feel like every other game he was on and every other game he was off. So it's not a dreadful series for Randle. But he had moments, you know, especially that third quarter today, that game 1, which he was hitting long threes, step back threes. I'm like, damn, Randle, you moving like that? All right. Then game 1, like I mentioned, the role players were off, man. The role players were off. Tonight, Jaden McDaniels was off, man. He missed his first 6 shots, hit his first 3, 1 of 7. It wasn't good, man. It just was not good for the role players at all. You got a game for man. Not great, not awful. Game from Ant. But he also was drafted in the fourth quarter. He's had a whopping 0. He had a donut. 0 fourth quarter points. And then game 2, like Randall had a great game 1. He had an abysmal game 2 performance. And he had an game again because he was off from 3. And he got a good game from Na, which I don't know if y'all know this, but Nikhil Alexander, aka Na, is SGA, aka Shea Gilgeous-Alexander's cousin. I don't know that. I don't know if y'all know that. You know, it wasn't like Mike Breen and everybody else on ESPN was constantly spamming that. I mean, well, I don't know anything about that, you know? I don't know. And then game 3, I like what I saw from Anthony Edwards and Nas Reed. He had a really, really good performance in that game. Again, he's independent free agent just like Na and just like Brando, so this is a contract year for him. Terrence Shannon trying to creep in and take some of his minutes potentially, but Nas hitting his threes, you know? Nah still has that tag as a 3-and-D player at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? It was cool seeing him going back and forth with SGA, you know. SGA hit a shot on him today in the paint. That was kind of cold, you know. Cousin on cousin, it is what it is. Game 3, though, everything was clicking for the Timberwolves. 3-point Magna game. Nah had 3 first half threes. He was going band for band. With SGA, I mean, he was just in his Duffy. In that 4th game. That 3rd game, though, he was doing his thing for sure. I like what I saw as well from Terrence Shannon Jr., Illinois legend. Yes, sir. Bro was in his bag. He hit a corner 3. Hall of Fame slasher. I think he got a steal. Shout out to TSJ. I'm by agenda, TSJ. You on my agenda, big bro. You've been on my agenda all season, by the way. I saw him one game in March Madness. I'm like, I like, bro. When he had this impending court case and he beat the case, I fuck with bro. Pause. But yeah, good second quarter jolt from TSJ in that game 4, and they just needed anything from Ant, but Randall as well. But really, really Ant. But Randall could have been better as well. But again, really, really Ant. If you gave them anything in game 4, they were this close. DiVincenzo, they had they had McDaniels. You gave them 20 plus points. All 3 of them, all 3 of the role players, and Ant and Randall were just getting carried. They were just getting carried, man. It is what it is. In the first half, the Timberwolves tonight had more turnovers than field goals made. That is blasphemy. That is disgusting. That is abysmal. It was a turnover party. It's not one of those like, oh, they're fouling, but they're getting called as turnovers. Like, no, they were getting ripped. Like, those were turnovers, my brothers. Those were turnovers. You feel what I'm saying? And the Timberwolves, this game, you know, Randall had that 3rd quarter, but overall, you didn't really. And maybe Ant had a little jolt in that 3rd quarter. But outside of that, you really didn't have anything outside of like a nice little Terrence Shannon jolt in that first half of game 5. Other than that, though, you really didn't get anything, you know. Really, really disappointed in tonight's game in totality. I mean, I'm not going to lie, my prediction was actually Timberwolves in 7. After last series, them and the Pacers were the 2 best teams. OKC was on a brink against the Nuggets. Went to a game 7. Timberwolves off 2 5-game series against the Lakers, and albeit an injured Stephen Curry less Warriors team, but they looked damn good. And then they just laid an egg outside of game 3. You know, they needed a perfect game to win in game 3. They got that, and then they just needed at points people to fill in the role players. It's either the role players or Ant. The role players or Randall. Like, it couldn't just all come in except for really game 3. I don't think that was a great game from one of the other ones. Maybe it was not a great game from Randall, but a really good game from Ant. But yeah, Thunder in 5. They're going to the finals. Congrats to all the Thunder fans out there. Knew y'all would do it, I'll be honest. Not surprising. Interesting journey, though. You definitely grew in front of our eyes. You were on the brinks of elimination, you know. You really grew. This team is like that. This is one of the greatest defenses we've seen in recent memory. Like, this is suffocating. Lou Dort, Cason Wallace, Alex Caruso, Jalen Williams, you know, Chet Holmgren in the paint, Flat Stanley Chet. Like, it's tough, man. This is a tough team. Clap it up again, once again, for the Western Conference champion, Oklahoma City Thunder, and the Western Conference Finals MVP, Shea something S Gilgeous Alexander. congratulations, SGA and the Thunder are moving on to the 2025 NBA Finals. Let's see if the Pacers can close out Game 5 technically tomorrow against the Knicks and MSG. If they go to Game 6 and on an hour. But it probably will end up being the Thunder versus the Pacers if everything goes as expected. But yeah, but other than that, yo, that is the video. So go down below, drop a like, comment down below, sub up, make sure to follow me on Twitch, Twitter, and TikTok. It's your boy John. Hopefully you guys did enjoy the video, and I'm out, man. Peace.